All right, I tried this once and my connection was poor, so here I am again. Hey everybody, I'm Mandi Ray, if you don't know me, and if you do, hey, I'm talking about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction here on Instagram Live because it's important and it's coming up. It's exact April 12th, early in the morning, Central Time, US. Does that mean that date is magical? Possibly, but actually I think the build up to a transit, a conjunction, a square, whatever the transit is, the build up is when it's most active. Sometimes the come down, it's like a bell curve, like these things, they build and build toward conjunction, and then they get to the conjunction and they separate. So Jupiter is moving towards Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. And this subject is one that I'm so intrigued by because I love the way Rick Levine puts it. Jupiter as the ruler of Sagittarius is expansion, but up into a limit. Saturn is the limit. Jupiter is inside of Saturn. So Saturn is rules and boundaries, right? So Jupiter as the ruler of Sagittarius has its own limitation because it isn't inside the boundaries of Saturn. But Jupiter in Pisces is expansion beyond limits. It is things we can't even put our finger on, or maybe ideas that don't even exist. That's Pisces. Pisces is mysticism. It's magic. Pisces can be delusion. It is confusion at times. So as Jupiter approaches Pisces, we're going to have, Neptune in Pisces, we're going to have more of this topic come up. Confusion. When the war started, fog of war kept coming up. So let's talk about Neptune. Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. Neptune, a lot of astrologers actually have asserted it can be a malefic. I don't know that I disagree. I think it can be both. I think actually all planets have their positives and negatives. Even benefics can have negatives, I think. So when we're talking about Neptune, we are definitely talking about the specific idea of delusion, confusion, fog, disillusionment, where you think, I can't believe this happened. I was under an illusion, and then you all of a sudden are not under an illusion anymore. That is Neptune. So as we have these two co-rulers, if you're looking at it through the traditional and the modern lens, coming together in Pisces, you're going to deal with all of these subjects in a specific area in your chart. So Jupiter is truth. Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is abundance. Jupiter is what you know, right? And it's coming up to the planet of confusion, fog, mysticism, magic. And so you think of these things, Jupiter expands this Neptunian principle as it comes up to it. Now, does that mean we're going to just be in a constant state of zombiness? I don't think so. I think we're going to have moments where we lack direction building up to this. It's exact April 12th, early in the morning, Central US time, but it's already active. So we're going to have moments of inspiration and ideas, things that don't exist. Neptune rules ideas that are not even in reality yet, right? But also moments where we lack direction and maybe don't really know what we believe about reality, don't really know what we believe about spirituality, especially our spiritual knowledge, what we know inside to be true. That is undergoing a process of change. Neptune helps us let go. Neptune dissolves. And so when Jupiter, the planet of truth and expansion, comes up and meets Neptune, and I do think this is going to relate to a certain dissolution of a truth or belief that we have, especially about reality. Jupiter is inside the bounds of Saturn. So that is reality. Neptune is outside the bounds of Saturn. Neptune is outside those limitations, okay? So we're going to experience a moment where we're like, is this reality? And I think we're already doing it as it builds up. I know I am. So it's in my 9th house, and I encourage you to look at where it's at in your chart. My ninth house is education. It's truth. It's my path. It's my worldview. That's how I look at the ninth house. Travel. And I've had some moments of travel in very recently that have kind of made me go, this is not what it used to be, you know? So a bit of this, like, why is this happening? Okay, so it's in your first. That is your identity. If it's in your first house, you are a Pisces rising. I love it. I have some friends that are Pisces risings. I have a Pisces moon, so I'm a big fan of Pisces risings. I'm a big fan of all rising signs. Let's just put that out there. But Pisces rising, identity. Who am I? Where do I belong in the world? What do I believe about myself? And so you may have a little bit of a hard time with direction there right now, but I do think during this conjunction, there will be a moment that we're imparted with some knowledge. I have to believe that. I looked at Jupiter in Pisces as a very exciting time before it happened. And, you know, I've been doing astrology since 2012. I've been studying it since 2012. I've been actually doing it since about 2016. But I've never experienced Jupiter in Pisces as an astrologer, first of all. And humanity has never experienced Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces together. It's about 166 years ago, the last time that happened. So, you know, I was really excited. Jupiter rules Pisces, especially if you're a Pisces rising. You're like, yeah, this is my identity, my time to show up, right? I have a Pisces moon. I was thinking this is going to be awesome. And you know what? It's been a big letdown, a little bit, not going to lie. Now, there's been other transits that have affected that, I think. I mean, we've had Mars and Saturn together in Aquarius. And it's been very interesting. Yet I think, and I have to believe, that there is going to be a moment during this conjunction where it's almost like the fog clears. If Jupiter is truth, we have to have a moment of insight during this. Now, whether it happens at the exact day of the conjunction or leading up to it, I think there will be that moment where the mysticism and the magic really takes hold, and we see, if, for instance, if it's in your first house, you know, this is who I want to be. This is how I want to show up in the world. So if you're an Aries rising, this is going to be in your 12th house. The 12th house, you can't really do anything with. And I mean that. You can't really actually do anything to get a hold of the 12th house. It is the place of downloads, where we download new programming. And in effect, we're all going through this download of new programming right now, because that is the Neptunian Pisces principle. It is something you can't control. You lack control there, right? It's almost something that will be given to you by spirit, by energy, by the universe. So if you're an Aries rising and this is in your 12th house, you're kind of going to just have to sit and wait and see what this is about. This is spirituality, dreams. Those will be very active for you. If you're a Taurus rising, this is in your 11th house, and this will be your networks, friend groups, goals. And so you may be lacking direction in your goals right now, or feeling some disillusionment there, like, you know, I really wanted this to happen and it's not happening. I would say, hold on, just wait. Venus is in Pisces now. And that's going to bring a lot of gifts, especially when it hits Jupiter, I think. So I think it's coming. Just wait. Maybe your goals are going to be more clear after this. You may have an idea about how you need to network, or the goals you need to make for yourself. If you're a Gemini rising, this is going to be in your 10th house of career, public reputation. And so that could be bringing a little bit of disillusionment, lack of direction to you right now. But that, I believe, is going to get more and more clear, especially as we lead up to this conjunction, April 12th. And you may have a moment of, I know exactly what I want to do in my career, a new idea, a message. And I'm going to say this with Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces. We get these messages, these internal intuitive messages. Listen to them. Synchronicities. If the same bird visits your window 3 days in a row, look up the type of bird it is, you know, like read about it. That's the thing I'm talking about. So for Gemini risings, if you're having something happen in your career over and over, a synchronicity, or if you're having dreams about your career, pay attention. That is what spirit speaks through. That's what the universe, energy, whatever you want to call it, God, it doesn't matter. That's what it speaks through, our intuition, our spirit. Now, if you are a Cancer rising, this is in your 9th house. This has to do with what you believe, education, travel, and your worldview. I really like that word for the 9th house. I call the 9th house the choose your own adventure house, because that's really what it's about. It's about adventure, about going on trips. And I don't mean just physically, right? So sometimes we meditate and we get into this trippy space. And so with the 9th house, I'm going to say, and this is because I am a Cancer rising and I've had some pretty wild experience with this lately, and it's a lot like walking around in a daze. I'm not exactly sure where to go, what to do. I am just kind of learning about what this conjunction is about. And so if it's in your 9th house, if it's in the cadent houses at all, it's going to be probably about a spiritual message, okay? Now, if you are a Leo rising, this is in your 8th house. The 8th house is very deep, but it has to do with power. It can be disempowerment. It's your boundaries, what you will take and what you won't take. It's other people's money, so shared resources. So basically, like when I think of shared resources, I think of grants, I think of loans, taxes, your spouse's money, things of that nature. So those are the topics you're going to be dealing with this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. So if you're having trouble with maybe a business partnership or how to share yourself, that is the kind of message you're going to get from this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. And you could be feeling disempowered. I'm going to say that for Leo risings. It could be a pretty disempowering time with you with Saturn in your 7th house, especially where other people are concerned. So I'm just going to say hold on. I think a gift is coming. And I think maybe that gift could come in the form of monetary support for you, but it could also come in the form of self-worth and empowerment. All right, so Virgo risings. This is in your 7th house of partnership and relationship. And, I've found that a lot of Virgo risings are having an okay time with this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction and Saturn and Mars. I don't know why, but they're getting gifts. I know a bunch of Virgo risings. I have one. My partner's a Virgo rising, and he got a raise. Now, I think he is exploring, and I think a lot of Virgo risings are exploring what relationships mean to them. What does it mean to connect with others? A lot of times Virgo risings will isolate sometimes and not put a whole lot of emphasis into relationships depending on your own chart. But this is a time for you to connect and see what sort of spiritual insights come through connections with others for you. And I think that's where the gifts are coming from. Okay, so Libra risings. This is in your 6th house of health and pets and daily life and work and rituals. Rituals are very important, I think, in this context. Jupiter and Neptune are highly spiritual planets, and so you may want to get very clear on your spiritual practice, your health practices, if you've had health problems, or if you, I'm thinking of my daughter. She is a Libra rising, and all of the sudden this week, she decided she wanted to get a smoothie box subscription, and she requested several things from the grocery store, and she wants to eat healthier because she has not been eating very healthy. This is all coming from her. She was 14, and she just got into this whole thing, and I think it's a really good example for Libra risings, because it was a very all of the sudden spiritual insight from her. She wants to get up early and make her breakfast in the mornings now. And I think that's the type of spiritual insight that Libra risings are getting on their health and their daily life and their rituals. So pay attention. That's what's going on for you, even your pets. Okay, so for Scorpio risings, this is in your 5th house. The 5th house is a creative area of your chart. It also rules children and joy. It is called the house of good fortune in traditional astrology. So joy may have been hard to find for quite a while for you. And I think that once this conjunction actually starting now, it's getting very close now, and Venus is now in Pisces, you may be starting to feel more creative, and you may be having better connections with your children or children in your life. But also you may be having spiritual insights on your own inner child. It could have been pretty disillusioned over the last little bit. Like, things aren't going my way. My inner child's really upset. I don't understand. I don't understand reality, or why I'm not having fun when I'm doing all the right things. I think fun's coming for you, Scorpio risings. It is definitely time to pay attention to that little kid inside, that pulls on your shirt and says, hey, this is what you need to be doing. You need to color, or you need to paint, or you need to, why aren't you the interior decorator you've always wanted to be? For Scorpio risings, that's the kind of thing that's coming for you. Okay, for Sagittarius risings, this is in your 4th house of home and family. And I'm talking about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in case anyone is just joining. So you may have felt some lack of direction, confusion, disillusionment in your home area, whether or not you're working on a home, changing homes. It could be family as well as emotional security. And so you could have had moments where you just don't even understand why your emotions are the way they are, or why you're not getting along with family, or why you don't feel good at home. That's where the gifts are coming, though. And I would say for you, Sagittarius risings, make a spot in your house that's spiritual. Whatever that means to you. It could be a shrine to Dolly Parton. It doesn't matter. A place that you connect with in your home, a corner of your home that you can visit and feel connected to whatever brings you emotional security and peace. That's going to be very important. But I do feel like gifts are coming for you here in your home and family area. All right, for Capricorn risings, this is in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is decision-making house. That's what I call it. Now, it's also a place that rules siblings, local community, short trips, but it's the way you communicate and the way you think, I think. Traditionally, Demetra George calls it the house of the goddess. So that could be an aspect of this as well for you, Capricorn rising. But the decisions you are making, the way you are communicating could be convoluted on the build up to this over the last month or two. Okay, like you could be like, why am I being misunderstood? Why am I not being heard? Why are my thoughts not coming out the right way? Why can't I make decisions on things? Or maybe you're just having to make a lot of decisions, and those are getting confusing. So I think that, oh, thank you, Rochelle. It's so nice to talk to you. Also, good luck. So I think that right now the message is coming from being heard and being understood. And I think that maybe you're going to have some spiritual insight on how to communicate. It could be that you need to communicate in a different way. It could be that you get a sudden insight on, hey, maybe I'm being too harsh here, or maybe I'm not speaking up for my desires. But this is about throat chakra for you, Capricorn risings. It's about the way you speak and the way you make decisions. And so I think that that's going to get a lot more clear for you after this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction as well. All right, Aquarius risings. This is in your 2nd house of finances and self-worth and abundance. And so this could be a really tough time for you. Let me tell you why. Because of the disillusionment, because of confusion, because of, what do I value? What do I, why am I not making money? Or why is this money not bringing me joy? Or, why is the car I bought a lemon? Things like that. So if you are an Aquarius rising, hold on. Venus is now there. And I think you're going to get some insight on values, self-worth, what to spend your money on, how to save your money, etc., etc. That's coming for you. And I think that it's already building. Like I said, my Libra rising daughter already had an insight on her health without, I don't talk to her about this stuff, and she just had this spontaneously. So I think with Venus now in Pisces, and it just got there, that these insights are coming. So for Aquarius risings, this is financial stuff for you. This is self-worth stuff for you. If you've had confusion and disillusionment there, you are about to have some more clarity, some truth come through, and you're going to see the path forward. All right. So, last but not least, and I already talked about it a little with Rochelle, Pisces Risings. This is in your first house of self, identity. You may not feel seen, okay? It may be that you've had a couple of months of not feeling seen, not knowing how to show yourself in this world. You are about to get a huge boost, Pisces Risings. I'm really excited for you. So, Venus is there now. If you've been unsure, like, okay, you know, I want to do something with my hair. What color do I make it? You know, I've always had this color hair and I'm just unsure. You're about to figure it out. I really believe that. And it's going to come through maybe intuition, synchronicity, but you're going to have intuitive insight on you, on who you are and how to show up in this world. And I'm very excited for Pisces Risings on this. So that's going to be really nice for you. You and Virgo Risings are doing some cool stuff right now. Everyone is. I'm really excited to see the spiritual transformation everyone goes through during this time. Hopefully with me in my 9th house, I get some more insight on how I'm supposed to be teaching. A lot of people are, you know, saying, why don't you teach? Why don't you have a class? And I'll tell you what, I've had health problems. I've got, you know, some things going on with my health. I had a cyst on my ovary, and that, man, it messed me up for a while. I was nauseous and cramping for a week, and it just really messed me up. So I've had some other things go on, and I think that's been part of it for me because cadent houses, here's a quick little lesson. You've got cadent houses are the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th house, okay? They are difficult sometimes. The 6th house is health. So anytime anything is in a cadent house, a 3rd house, a 6th house, a 9th house, or a 12th house, it could possibly be affecting your area of health. So for me, Jupiter, Neptune in my 9th, I got a stellium in my 6th, squaring my stellium, I've had health problems. And that's where my disillusionment's been coming from. I can't do my 9th house stuff because I've been having health problems and I'm over it. So Venus coming through, it's getting better. Got a call from the doctor. Should go away on its own. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, so like I'm figuring out how I want to teach, how I want to impart any of this knowledge to everybody. You know, do I need to do TikTok? What do I need to do? Like, I need to get out there and let people know all of the work I've done to learn this stuff. I'm gonna get emotional. It means something to me, and I want to impart it to people in a way they can use it. And that's been really difficult. I mean, it's a really cutthroat world, astrology. Everything is, right? You gotta be on social media if you're a woodworker. You gotta have an Instagram and a Facebook and a perfect website. There's just a disconnect there that's very hard for me. I'm so sorry that I got emotional at the end of this. Because I want to reach people on a real level. I don't want to put off this, bullshit. I just don't. So for me, that's part of what I've been going through. How do I bring this forth? The 9th house, you teach, right? You learn, you share your truth. It's the house of the guru. Not that I think I want to be a guru, but that just has meaning for teaching, for sharing knowledge, right? And how do I do that in an authentic way? And I've been very disillusioned by the way the world works. It's my worldview. It's hard to put in energy to make an Instagram post when it, you don't even know if it reaches people. You don't know what good it's doing for the world. Ultimately, that's what I want to do. And this is just, I guess, a sharing moment so that you can know that if you're feeling like this in a certain area, if you're feeling disillusioned in a certain area, I'm sitting here crying if you've just joined, about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces and how it can bring a certain amount of disillusionment and lack of clarity, lack of direction. But that is about to get a boost when this conjunction happens. We're about to see some truth there. And it's very hard for me to put myself out on social media constantly, not knowing if it reaches anyone authentically. I want to put my real self out there. I don't want to have to bullshit people. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make the world better, to love people, to heal people. And it's very hard to put in work on an Instagram post or your website or Facebook or whatever the case may be, and expect that to happen. Like, expect that healing to get through to people.